Right back here with another episode of Bubba and the Old Man. Today we're going to be talking about Auburn's biggest problem. First problem, in my opinion, I want to talk about with Auburn is a lack of creativity on offense. Sometimes too creative. There is no balance in the middle with the let's just be a power run team and hammer the ball on them, and let's get creative and every now and again do a double reverse or a flea flicker or something, just something to catch them off guard. It's like Gus Malzahn has to have at least 4 or 5 plays in every game where he's trying to trick the defense, and it never works.
It's okay if it's like one time a game, or one time every 2 games, you hit them with a triple reverse or a flea flicker, something like that, or a tight end screen, or something.
Or the Aaron Rodgers little shovel pass to the tight end, looping around, running up the middle of the field.
Well, that's not really a disguise. That's just Aaron Rodgers being great. But I like the motion. The motion is great because that's like I like it when we line up in the single back and we'll just have Stove run across the line because it gets the linebacker's eyes and it moves them out of the way. You can pull a guard and then there's a wide open hole and it's just tank one-on-one with a safety.
Yeah, and I'll take that every day. But the motion also gets the defense a lot of times to tip their hand to what they're doing. So I don't mind the motion.
I like it.
I don't mind when they snap the ball and you're going jet sweep motion. That's fine too, because at times it can clear out the middle of the field.
And I love it because, like, even when we're in the gun or the pistol, whatever it is after the sugar huddle where we're like 3 feet behind the center, but he brings Stove in motion and he fake it to Stove, which the defense has to respect it because Stove's speed and elusiveness, and then you can just hand it to Tank. And it was that simplicity that made them so great, even with Nick Marshall and Trey Mason. That's what made them great without Fred Lashley. But Gus tries to do too much of it where he sends freaking Pegues in motion. There's no threat with Pegues in motion.
But, I understand that. But we went through Rhett Lashley, then we had Chip Lindsey for 2 years.
Which was great.
Which was, 1 year was great with Jarrett Stidham, 2 losses, and then we get to the SEC championship game, and Gus puts his hands back on the offense. Lost in the SEC championship game, lost to UCF in the Peach Bowl.
Shaquem killed us in that game.
Then Chip Lindsey leaves. And we bring in, I forget his name. He was only there for 1 year. He was like 27 years old. And
that was basically all Gus, though.
He actually, you could tell when he actually was calling plays because it was a lot more balanced run to pass ratio than we're seeing with Gus. And now we got Chad Morris, and
he's basically just a freaking Gus Malzahn clone.
I mean, I think that the offense has looked better at times, but I don't know, man. It's just
it's okay with Gus to have his hands on the offense a little bit, but it's basically like even when he handed it off to Chad Morris, the full-time offense coordinator, you could tell Gus gave him you can call these plays in these situations, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the way it seems. Freedom. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't have it. That's the way it looks watching it, because this is the same play calls as when Gus said he was going back to his roots. It's 8 years.
Gus is not a bad coach.
He's not a bad coach. He's not a bad guy. But it's been 8 years, and it's been 8 years of we're young, 8 years of we're inexperienced, 8 years of we're rebuilding. I mean, damn, man. How many years? I mean, he wants to the pandemic. It's an odd year. Well, every college football team is dealing with that.
Yeah.
Every NFL football team is dealing with that. The NBA had their season uprooted halfway through
and moved to Orlando.
Yeah, and they dealt with it. You have to. I mean, it's like my dad used to tell me all the time, pounded in my head. When life kicks you in the ass and knocks you down, you have to get back up because nobody cares. All anybody cares about is you do your job and you do it well.
Nick did his job. Jimbo did his job. Why can't we do our job?
Dabo's doing his job. Cat down in Miami. I mean, he's turning their program around. They only got one loss, and they're playing like their hair's on fire.
Yeah, that's where Rhett Lashley freaking went, and he's down there with Derek King, and they're just beating up on everybody.
Everybody but Clemson.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and they didn't make no excuses after Clemson. They said we got beat. We didn't do our job.
He's developed Derek King. Derek King looks like a different guy than he was at Houston.
Problem number 2. Lack of being able to recruit quality depth at offensive line. I mean, Gus every year, and I say Gus, it's the whole offensive staff, the defensive staff, because it don't matter what side of the ball you're playing on, you're coaching on. You have to recruit the guys in your region.
Yeah.
But for some reason, in between Tuberville and Gus, Auburn has been unable to recruit offensive line, quality offensive linemen.
I get that we're the little brother team in Alabama, but we can't even get like anything bigger than scraps from all the other teams, the guys that nobody else wants. Occasionally we'll get a high 3-star, mid 4-star offensive lineman, but then we don't develop it.
Well, the last great, I would say great offensive lineman Auburn had, Braden Smith. And we had to go to Colorado to get him. I think he's from Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he was a last second pickup in that recruiting class, I believe. I mean, it's every year. Gus states we wanna focus on offensive line this year, and we wind up getting really nothing good. I mean, we can get big guys, but they're not on the field because we're taking in transfers that are playing ahead of them.
I'm sick and tired of getting guys like Carry-On and Tank and even Cam Petway and have them running behind guys where they can't even really hit the hole sometimes.
Yeah.
They have to bounce around everywhere. Tank's got phenomenal running vision, and he's very talented. But imagine if he was running behind Alabama's offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times he's getting hit in the backfield and making somebody miss.
Before he got hurt, he was leading the SEC
in broken
tackles because he can't get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond me. And this is 8 years of we're inexperienced, we're rebuilding. You know, I'm tired of the excuses.
Alabama's rebuilding is going to very, very good bowl games. Our rebuilding is going 6-6.
Going to the Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah, that was a terrible year. Our rebuilding is 8-5. Our top years are 10-2 and then getting blown out.
Yeah, by better talent.
Our defense can't save us every single year.
Yeah, and we're starting to suffer on the defensive side of recruiting too.
Yeah, like eventually you're going to run out of Derek Browns, Marlon Davidsons, Big Cats, Carlton Davises. You're going to run out of.
We had another high 4-star we've been recruiting for over a year. This morning, Nyland Green, I think was his name, committed to Georgia over Auburn because why would you want to go to Auburn?
Yeah, why would you want to go play for a team where your offense is going 3 and out 50% of the time?
Yeah. And you there's no shot of winning a championship. I mean, Gus stated it himself the other day, 6-4 was a solid year. That's exactly what he thinks of it. And he come back the next day and he was like, I want to make sure everybody knows we want to win championships at Auburn. Well, then you shouldn't have said that a solid year is 6-4.
Well, Gus, you can go to Vanderbilt and win 6 games a year, and that'll be a solid year.
Yeah. All right.
Take your talents to Louisiana Tech.
Third problem I see with Gus Malzahn is he's in over his head.
Yep.
He's been the head coach now for 9 years, 1 year at Arkansas State, and he went there and it was a cakewalk because the coaches who had been there before, like Hugh Freeze and a couple of others, left the cupboard stacked with talent.
Yeah, that's what he got the first year at Auburn. All Gene Chizik's guys, and then he just brought in a quarterback that was perfect for his system. It was a miracle year, and he still found a way to choke away the national championship.
Yeah.
That was handed to him, basically.
It's just, like I stated before, with Gus, it's always excuses. He's always looking forward to next year, and next year ain't gonna be no better because there's no changing at halftime, no halftime adjustments. Gus Malzahn goes in with a game plan, and he ends the game with that game plan. He don't change nothing. The lack of being able to develop a quarterback. Bo Nix is running off the same talent and the same things he knew when he was at Pinson Valley High School.
He's going to be, if he had a good coaching staff to develop him, he would be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. He showed that last year against Alabama. He struggled a little bit, but he showed he can be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. He can be a good NFL quarterback.
And lack of developing a route tree with the receivers.
We have very good receivers.
I love Gus Malzahn's run game. When he actually utilizes it, it's powerful and it moves the chains. But his route tree is bubble screens, slants, and goes.
Couple posts here and there. Couple hitch routes.
I mean, it's not a big boy route tree. It's not something you should be running in the SEC.
We got a tight end named J.J. Pegues, very talented, but we ran him at quarterback for 2 games. We had him taking snaps out the Wildcat.
We at Auburn have had talent. We've had the opportunity to play for national championships, and Gus Malzahn poops it away. The year we beat Alabama and Georgia when they were both number 1, he went into the SEC championship game that year and run the same game plan back he beat Georgia with 3 weeks before.
Yeah, and Carry On was hurt.
I mean, first series, went down the field, scored, nothing after that. Because Georgia knew what was coming.
Those 2 games were the best games I've ever seen Gus Malzahn coach. The Georgia game, the first Georgia game, and the Alabama game. Those were the only games where I saw him be like, oh, this is working. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah.
And with Cam Petway, those were a couple of good games too. But there's very few and far between where Gus is like, hey, let's scrap the game plan and let's just keep doing what we're doing.
He always seems to find a way to mess it up. I mean, you got coaches in this league that are championship level coaches. Of course, Nick Saban. Jimbo's won a championship. I think Kirby's eventually going to win one when he realizes he can't be Nick Saban. He's got to be Kirby Smart. Lane Kiffin, if he can get the talent to come to Ole Miss, I think he's going to be competing for a championship.
I don't know about
Freaking
that.
Ed Orgeron won a national championship.
For Gus. And he wasn't even supposed to be the head coach there. It was an accident. Complete accident.
I mean, this is where we are. We're 8 years in, and the excuses have run out. I love Gus Malzahn as a man. I think he's a great man. As a head coach, UAB level.
Not UAB level. Mid-tier ACC, Big 10, Big 12. those kind of areas, he can have.
Well, I'm just
good
saying,
seasons.
you know, I mean, I don't know if he could win the ACC going against Dabo every year. He could win Conference USA every year.
That's disrespectful. Maybe the American Conference, you know, that level, I think he could win Big 12, Big 10 occasionally. Like once every few years, he could jump up and win the Big 10. He's a good, solid head coach. He's not competing with Nick Saban every year head coach. We got to go find that.
Either we beat Nick Saban in Alabama by a slim margin or we get blown out. I mean, Nick Saban took a PTO day this year, just decided not to coach the Iron Bowl, and they still blew Auburn out.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was no really any big decision that had to be made. Steve Sark just did what he knew he needed to do, and they dominated.
Throw to Devontae, run Najee.
Oh my God. All right.
That was their game plan.
Yep.
It's that simple. Throw to Devontae, run Najee.
Bye. Selena, go.
Oh.
Stop.